PSG are in dreamland, and they've just switched the firepower. Bradley Barcola comes in, gets into the box, and takes Acerbi and Bastoni on an absolute ride right here. At long last, Paris Saint-Germain have won the Champions League, and it is a real testament to the kind of team that they've become. Now, they came into this final favorites, but I don't think anyone expected it to be this level of demolition.
It was interesting. The crowd was really following the game, and I could hear once they scored, and it was way too many times that they were celebrating. I was like, wow, it's a lot of goals from Paris. I mean, what's going on? So now I heard it's 5-0, so it's quite a result, to be honest.
So welcome to Campfire Football. I'm Sebastian North. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below. Let's go ahead and break down PSG's absolute brilliance in this Champions League final. Kudos to Marquinhos, the captain, lifting the trophy there. I mean, he really deserves this after over a decade of hurt. I mean, he was there for all of the horrible exits, most notably the remontada at the hands of who? Luis Enrique, the coach. Photobombing on the right-hand side of the screen. Pretty hilarious. But he has completely changed this team. The manager's been brilliant, and it's so interesting that after Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe go, you see this team function in the most absolutely coherent, cohesive way, and a large part of it is that ability to press from the front. Very few teams have someone who presses like Dembele does, and I don't think anyone thought Dembele would be this good at leading a front line, but my goodness, the work that he puts in, he just makes sure that defenders get the ball off their foot quickly and that the rest of his team can have some predictable understanding of where the ball is going next. So as Acerbi gets his ball, there's a huge gap in the middle, but he's rushed, and so he's got to drop it to Pavard. Now, Dembele could stop right here, but as the ball goes back to Sommer, Dembele's there again. And because he's completely cutting off one side, the rest of his teammates all know where this ball is going. So it goes to Bastoni, and Doué is there. Now, this is another pattern that Inter Milan did very frequently in other matches. Bastoni would play it to DiMarco and run forward to try and get the ball back. Now, if that's Mbappe, he stops. But Doué here runs back, helps to win the ball, and now PSG can get some possession. And this is where we would see Luis Enrique's team really take control of the game. And it ends up being Achraf Hakimi, an ex-Inter player, who would get the goal. Now, here, Pacho wins it, plays it to Hakimi, no one pressuring him. He starts to drive forward, and I just don't understand why no one's really confronting him with the ball. This was just the biggest issue from Inter Milan. Zero intensity, zero running, and so it's just too easy. Everyone drifts into one area, which then leaves open spaces. And look at Vitinha. I mean, how can you leave that guy all on his own? He gets the ball. It's clearly going to Kvaratskhelia, who had barely gotten a touch at this point. So it goes out to him, and he can start running at the Inter back line. Now, he plays it inside to Fabian Ruiz. He turns, doesn't really have anything, so he plays it back to Vitinha. Take a look at poor DiMarco here. Hakimi and Dembele are both there, and no one is helping him. No one's even checking their shoulder to see what's going on. Ball goes back to Vitinha, and the Inter players here, if they're going to step, they all need to step. Instead, it's just Acerbi sort of running forward. He now looks behind him, and he goes, oh, Doué's making the run inside. The other thing, as this ball is about to be played, yes, DiMarco is keeping all the PSG players on side, but Denzel Dumfries on the backside, he is on the cut of the grass. Bastoni is as well, so Doué is not offside when that ball gets played. Yet, Bastoni and Çalhanoğlu both put their arms up, appealing for offside. That's not a good reaction. DiMarco has really no choice. He's got to go and try and get in front of this because Doué is probably going to try and curl this to the back corner. So DiMarco gets there to block that off, but Bastoni should be immediately closing the gap between he and DiMarco to make sure that doesn't happen. 11 minutes and 30 seconds into the game, and PSG have the lead. And it did not get better for Inter. Right away, they would concede another goal. Now look, this is a throw-in that Denzel Dumfries tries to put into the box. These are called long throws, not high throws. And look at this. He just puts it into orbit, which is ridiculous because it's really much more difficult for your forwards to get a good flick on. It's also easier for the defense to come out and win the ball. Pacho wins the first header, runs over to make sure he doesn't let it go out for a corner, and flicks it back into the field. Just keeps it on the pitch. And it ends up at Kvaratskelia's feet, and now the counterattack is on. Dembele running forward, Fabian Ruiz going forward, and then you've got Doué and João Neves, who will also end up in the penalty area when this goal is scored. Now we're in this position. DiMarco keeping an eye on Fabian Ruiz. That's good. But as Doué is running into the picture, Mkhitaryan needs to realize we've got an overload on this backside. Mkhitaryan should be the one getting closer to Fabian Ruiz so that DiMarco can at least keep an eye on Doué. But once Dembele gets into this position, now look at Mkhitaryan. He's like, I'm going to stop him somehow. not even paying attention to Joao Neves running off the back of him. Ball gets clipped out to Due. DeMarco actually really does not cover himself in glory. I don't know why he's turning around. Really bizarre thing to do. You got to get closer to him. You got to face him because the deflection beats Sommer, and it's 2-0. And I'm sure at halftime, Simone Inzaghi gave his team a rocket. Look, it's 2-0. If they come out well in the second half, maybe make some small adjustments, they could claw their way back into this game. But the cool thing for PSG is that they just kept up this intensity throughout the entire match. I mean, Dembele's running is awesome. And look, this is exactly what they needed to do. Not take their foot off the gas and try and see if they could just contain Inter. Keep running at them because Inter have no confidence right now, and every time they get the ball, they don't really know where to go. Pavard gets this and does not even open his body up to look forward. He's just trying to make the simplest pass possible, which shows you the lack of confidence Inter Milan had at this point. And Dembele, 1v3, is just forcing them to go where he wants it. Goes back to Sommer, out to Bastoni. Dembele gets right in his face, forces him to go back to Sommer again. Now, Sommer, in the previous matches, he was finding Dumfries or the center forwards very well. Have a look at this ball. Just dumped into midfield. Nuno Mendes picks it up, and the transition moment. Immediately as PSG get this ball, all of them switch on and are like, how can I get it? Barella is just sort of jogging forward like, yeah, I'll get close to Vitinha if he gets it. No one cuts off this ball. Fabian Ruiz gets it, looks over his shoulder, is like, is anyone even going to come mark me? Acerbi starts to get close to him, and then immediately, watch both Inter defenders here, Pavard and Acerbi, they just start running away. Dembele gets this one, tries to shoot, it goes wide. But man, Inter were in so much trouble. It was just a matter of time before they would get scored on, and Vitinha was central in the match and central to this absolutely brilliant third goal. This is my favorite of the day. He comes from like 15 yards away and tells him, I got this free kick. Plays it out to Hakimi and gets it back. He could easily just play this ball back right now, but what he wants to do is draw Lautaro in a little bit. Like, come a little closer to me, guys. And as soon as you do, I'm going to get it off my foot and run beyond you. Zalewski here should be following Vitinha. He doesn't, just lets him go for a second. Vitinha creates a separation. Now he knows that when he receives the ball, he can turn and start to penetrate. Again, no one's really pressuring him, so he just finds a split and keeps his run going. Vitinha is about to run past Barella here, and Barella, instead of running with him, he just tries to like grab him. So nice little pullback by Dembele to go behind. It eliminates Acerbi who followed him in, and it's a 3-on-2. I mean, just like that. Vitinha drives forward, gives it to Due, he finishes, it's 3-0, and game is absolutely over. The scary thing is it was 62 minutes into the match at this point. There's half an hour to go. How bad was it going to get? And it was ugly. This right here is the fourth goal, and it just, again, it shows a lot of what PSG are all about. Vitinha really under pressure, 4 players close to him, and Fabian Ruiz still gives him the ball. The whole idea is to bring players closer, bounce pass it back, see if you can get them all sucked into one area and then go the other way. Now, you think right here Fabian Ruiz could switch it? No, he wants to combine with Hakimi, and that is the moment to get the ball to the other side. Comes to Nuno Mendes, and he wants to play this ball. This is exactly what we saw against Arsenal. This diagonal pass on the ground into Dembele checking in. Now, against Arsenal, he turned, went forward, and scored, but here he's followed by Acerbi, and that's actually another thing that they want. A center back being pulled out of position to create loads of space behind. And that actually would be part of the cause for this goal. There's just a small hiccup here. Dembele's pass back was bad and Dumfries gets it. But Nuno Mendes doing very well to win it back off him. And now Acerbi goes into pressure. He and Dumfries get split, and Dembele's looking forward. And Kvaratskhelia is in whose position? He's right where Acerbi should be. And this is actually really embarrassing from Inter Milan because it's very obvious Dembele is going to play that ball. So right now, they should just hold their line and let him go, and he won't be able to get the ball. But they keep jogging. Dembele plays it, and just watch Darmian here. This is utterly pathetic. He just decided to slow down and jog. By the way, he just came on. He was a substitute. So, okay, now it's 4-0, 20 minutes to play. PSG are in dreamland, and they've just switched the firepower. Bradley Barcola comes in, gets into the box, and takes Acerbi and Bastoni on an absolute ride right here. Fake shot, drag. Bastoni leaves his left foot out to try and block the shot, and then does a sort of breakdance move. This is just so embarrassing. Barcola here opening his body, making it look like he's going to go to the far side, and Barcola goes near post, and somehow, I mean, I don't even know how, he misses from there. But look, it didn't really matter. The question was still, would they get one more before the end of the game? and they would, and it would be Mayulu. Never heard of him before this, but man, does this show what PSG have coming through the pipeline. And it's a great final goal, back to front, Donnarumma to Marquinhos out to Hakimi. Zaire Emery makes the run forward as Mayulu checks back. They just switch positions, and it just confuses Inter enough. They get by, and Zaire Emery makes a driving run forward, gets the ball to Barcola, and this is really, really funny. As Barcola gets this and decides to play it back to Mayulu, watch the way all 5 Inter defenders just like a bug to a light. They just all go running that way, and Darmian has immediately just lost track of Barcola. Mayulu finds him and keeps his run going. Hits it off the post. It goes in. It's 5-0, and PSG win the Champions League. They're absolutely worthy winners, and in my opinion, the best team in Europe this season, closely followed by Barcelona, and honestly, I wish that had been the final. I think it would have been a far better match. But my goodness, PSG are excellent, and Luis Enrique deserves big flowers because he is only the second manager now to win a European treble. Pep Guardiola is the other, but what he did with this group is super impressive. They are a dynamic machine, and you imagine that they will be good for quite a few years to come. So, thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the breakdown. I'm Sebastian North. This is Campfire Football.